Okay, used to it, right?
What the heck?
And from the perspective of this phrase, sounds familiar, the word pivot.
Pivot.
Yes, it's, I mean, an English word. How many times have you had to completely change the trajectory of the project? You know, when we first started the conversation, you mentioned a couple of points. So how many times have you had to completely, I don't know, change the market concept or something else in the product until the moment when you...
Well, there were three major stories. I've already told you all of them. So, when we transitioned from using Excel spreadsheets to recruiting captains through the app, then when we moved to the model of spots on yachts, and right now we're also in the process of slightly expanding the range of services we offer, because, for example, we have a position called a cruise, and cruises are also divided into day cruises and week-long cruises, so we have to respond to that. We're adding sea fishing as well because it's also, well, it's related to the sea and there's a demand for it. Well, I mean,
Well, that's probably not considered a pivot because it's, yeah, more of a development.
yeah, it's no longer a revolution, it's more of an evolution, right? So we've only gone through two such revolutionary stories. I don't know how many more are ahead.
Can you give some advice for people who are just starting out or want to get into the world of yachting? There are a lot of barriers that seem completely insurmountable to many people because, for example, here we are sitting, right, and there are yachts around, but you can't just take one and go for a ride on it, so to speak, or on the one next to it. First of all, you either need to own a yacht or you need to have the option to rent one way or another, right? This is mainly about being with the captain and so on, since you don't have any certificates or anything like that. Even with training, it's a big deal not everyone experiences, and it doesn't open doors for you. You don't get into this world. Overall, I understand it's a good filter for those entering this world. These are conscious individuals used to achieving something in life, and overall, I mean, on one hand, I understand that this is probably, and even, let's say, the people I've talked to say that it's a good cutoff or filter for the people who enter this world. So these are, so to speak, certain conscious individuals who are used to achieving something in life, more or less. As a result, they end up, yeah, in this world. So these are, let's say, certain conscious individuals who are used to achieving something in life, more or less. So they end up, yeah, in this world. And there are people, accordingly, who want to give it a try. How can this be done from the height of your experience and your perspective?
And what's going to happen there? A product placement, you know. I'm going to say that we created our app specifically so that people wouldn't be afraid of anything. They could just book a spot on a yacht and go for a ride. In fact, even if my app didn't exist, I believe there's no reason not to become their replacement. Well, there are no such cutoffs, nothing at all. You can always find someone you know who has been on a yacht.
Sorry, I just know that when you just go out, rented a yacht, just for a ride, a day trip, it doesn't really count as yachting. You just came in from the series of, that's just a ride, let's call it that.
Kachitter, if you drank vodka on a yacht, you're a yachtsman. Wow. The criterion is in the title of the video. Please write this down from Gorgi Ilyan. If you've been on a yacht for even one day, if you've raised the sails just once, that's it, you're a yachtsman. Just like that. I feel this way about it. All people who have sailed on a yacht are yachtsmen. A ride, a regatta, a cruise, or even a delivery trip, it all makes you a yachtsman. You get involved in this world, and you start looking for opportunities to move forward in it. But you have to start with some first step. You just need to find an opportunity and get on a yacht. But you have to start with some first step. You just need to find an opportunity and get on a yacht. That's it. And you'll feel whether it's for you or not. There are people who immediately say, I don't like this, I'm not interested in this. Well, please, such people are not needed. Yachting. And there are people who come, look at this and say, I no longer understand how to relax at all, where to go on vacation. What could be cooler than yachting? Probably only space flights. Everything else is just a yacht.
I agree, but let's get a bit more specific. Imagine people are watching us. For the most part, these people are not business owners. Let's start with this. From the perspective of the opportunities to rent a yacht or, let's say, go for a week, it's highly questionable whether they can allow you to do this or not. Allow you to go once in some crew, a la place or cabin, and drive for a week, perhaps once a year, twice a year, but with all this, you do not get into this world. It's like when I tried diving once. I decided to dive in head first. I tried it for the first time, went through the briefing, then training, tests, practice, and I got my certification, and that was it. That's where it all ended. Well, what I mean is it ended like this. A year went by, then 2 years, and I didn't do it anymore. And here's the question, you see that line between when you actually enter this world and the other line when you've just tried it once. So that's a nice memory in my life.
Listen, well, like, Nenny, I don't know. Maybe I can tell you using billiards as an example. Well, if you've played billiards just once, you definitely don't enter the world of billiards.
Yes.
But if you enjoyed playing billiards, you came back and played a second time, and the third time, and then you start making connections.
That's all true, but there's a problem here. Only with practice. That's money. Come on, let's be honest. It's not free overall.
Not free, but if you can afford to stay in a hotel, then you can afford to go on a yacht. Then you should go to the nearest reservoir, to the nearest body of water, where there are at least small uninhabited racing yachts, and come and say, take me on as a crew member. You might be told on one yacht that there's no crew space. On another yacht, they'll say there's no crew space. And on a third yacht, they'll say, okay, we need a sailor. Come on, help us get the yacht ready for the season. We'll be getting it ready in the spring. Get involved with your hands. And then you'll race with us as part of the crew. That's exactly how I ended up going.
That's it. That's basically what I wanted, to get that kind of answer, because many people can't afford any of that. So yes, there's my circle of friends, and then there's your circle of friends, and those are people who can more or less afford it. But there are also people who, well, they want to, they're interested, but they just don't have the means. In short, we're currently walking along, how should I put it?